What is going on, peeps? All right, so look, I read the BTI report for the Vietnam Dong. Oh, it is not done a whole lot to talk about its currency, but did say that Vietnam long term is going to be the place to invest. I spoke about that a zillion times, so you don't need me to go over that, but I'm going to show you some other interesting things that you should be aware of. A quick reminder that we have Pimpy's investment chat. It is the Facebook group that has the same name as the YouTube channel. I will leave a link in the description and encourage you guys to come join us. We speak about the Vietnam Dong, the Iraqi dinar, gold, silver, cryptocurrencies, the whole 9 yards. It's free to join, so come join us. Also, there is another group I have, and it continues to grow at a fast rate. It's called The Hidden Things in Front of Your Eyes. For those of you who like those conspiracy things, this is what this group does. It is in here. We talk about everything from 9/11, false flags, chemtrails, you name it. It is talked about in there, okay? But link for both will be in the description, so come join us. Anyways, I wanted to go over a couple of things real quick. Look at, we know that already that Vietnam has been on the United States, especially Trump's administration's do-do list, if you get my drift, for manipulating the currency. So the State Bank of Vietnam has used the exchange rate to compete with trade partners and never purposely intervened in a monetary policy to help with exports. This is what Vietnam's telling us. Vietnam does not manipulate currency. So we've seen these types of reports before. They just want to deny it. But the statement followed the U.S. Department of Treasury's adding Vietnam to a list of 10 currencies that have been manipulated. Okay, we already know this, but I want you to check out some. We know China is, but did you know about Germany, Ireland, Italy, Japan, Korea, Malaysia, and Singapore, Switzerland, and Vietnam? But notice 3 of these bad boys are in the South China Sea: Malaysia, Singapore, and Vietnam. These are all the countries that benefited big time from a trade war between Trump and China. Not to mention they're still benefiting from the fact that people are pissed at China, and they're taking their companies out of China and looking for other places to go. And guess where they're going to? Singapore, Japan, Malaysia. Well, I just said that, Singapore right there, Malaysia, and Vietnam, okay? So they can't continue to be on this manipulating list. It's going to hurt them. They don't want to be kicking butt only to be slapped down by Trump. Trust me, nobody does. That's not going to happen, all right? So anyways, I want to show you some other interesting things that you guys should be paying attention to. So look, Vietnam has been doing really good about creating solar farms. So transferring solar projects to foreign investors. So I told you, look, this is a great time to be an outside investor and look at Vietnam long term. But there's something else I want to point to you real quick before we get to this. So just the Ministry of Trade said yesterday that transferring all or part of the solar power projects was normal according to the market rules and the investment laws. So look, and they're letting outside people come in and take control of their solar farms. That's big in its own thing if you want to think about investing into solar energy over in Vietnam. We know they have some of the biggest solar fields around the world. They've actually started doing solar farms on the water. So they put them on these huge floating devices, all right? So Vietnam's central region, nearly 150,000 solar panels found out across 45 hectares. So I'm guessing that's 111 acres, okay? Glistening in the dry wind heat. Although the landscape is quiet, big changes are underway. And what are those big changes? That is, they want to expand. They continue to want to expand. That's what this thing's talking about, creating more projects and investing in the solar panels. This one's talking about the same thing. Well, what's the big deal, you say? Look, I keep telling you guys about gold and silver, but silver has the second largest commercial use only to oil. I bring this up because look at this. Silver is the core element for the manufacturing of solar panels, as it is the heaviest or the highest electrical and thermal conductive of all metals. As such, it is heavy used in solar panels. So you guys, look, I keep telling you guys right now, compared to gold. So for those you don't understand, you can look for gold. You can search for, there's contraptions out there to find it, the whole 9 yards. You can look at landscape and try to guess where gold is. Silver is a byproduct. And what I mean by that is you can't go out and search for silver. People find silver by accident. So if you have a salt farm and all of a sudden, boom, there's silver. Or if you have a copper farm, boom, all of a sudden there's silver. So it's really hard to just go out and look for silver. So it's really scarce. Again, it has the second most market uses or commercial uses only to oil. Okay? So that means as these guys continue to create these huge solar farms, and as they continue to do this around the world, they're going to need a precious metal that's becoming very, very scarce. Now think about it this way. When we go back to the gold standard, and we will, and we start minting out silver coins again, how much more scarce is the silver going to be for solar panels? Do you get my drift? Solar is the investment of all the investments, you guys. I can't preach that enough. I just wanted to show you this because they were talking about expanding their solar fields, which is what they're going to do. Vietnam is trying to become one of the leading green energy countries that are out there. It's not just there, it's also happening over in the Middle East. Okay, so they do use a lot of silver, but here's the thing. If you don't have it, or you do have it and becomes scarce, what does that mean to us? Well, it means if you're a silver holder, your investment is going to keep climbing, 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 and climbing. Okay, real quick, I want to show you something. The World Bank is an international financial institute. This provides loans granted to the governments to the poorest countries for the purpose of pursuing capital projects. In other words, okay, we help out the people around the world. But here's the thing about the World Bank. The World Bank is an extended family of the 5 international organizations. We don't care about that. Come down here, it is. The World Bank was created in 1944 Bretton Woods Conference along with the International Monetary Fund. So we have the World Bank and IMF. The president of the World Bank is traditionally an American. The World Bank of the IMF was both based in Washington, D.C. and is clearly with each other. So look, people go, well, do we own them? Yeah, technically we do. So they sell shares in these two, the IMF as well as the World Bank. And the United States and Britain control the majority of the shares. So basically, yeah, they own it. Okay, why is this important? Let's talk about what's going on in Vietnam. So again, on the 19th, the headquarters of the Government Steering Committee for Administrative Reform organized an online conference to announce the Public Administration Reform Index of 2019 for the central government ministries and agencies. All this is blah, blah, blah to you. Yes, I get that, but let's get down over here. So basically, over 8 assessments of the implementation of the overall administration reforms reflected by the PAR Index of the Government Steering Committee for the Administration Reform between 2011 and 2020. So the SBV has made it to the top 3 for 2 times. So who are they impressing? These are the proud achievements of the banking industries over the recent years. In addition, according to the reports of the World Bank, Vietnam's access to credit indexes has been consistently improved and maintained a high rank as compared to other countries. So in other words, the SBV bends their butt backwards to make sure that they stay in the good graces of the World Bank. Okay? So if you come over here, administrative reform creates safe, stable, and effective environments. So, with regards to the institutional reform, the SBV has finalized the legal frameworks to address non-performing loans, promote the management of the gold market, gold and silver, the credit operations, and the lending activities of the credit institutions. The SBV has also improved the framework for the management of the monetary policies and the exchange rates. Okay, so the point being this, Vietnam is not going to keep doing what they're doing to bend their butt backwards to make sure they're staying in the great graces of the United States, only to screw it up by manipulating their currency. We know they are on the currency manipulation list. We know this. We know under the Trump administration, he is not tolerating this. Right now, he might be distracted with re-election. He might be distracted with the coronavirus. He might be distracted with unemployment and a crashing economy. But don't think for a minute this guy's going to let this stuff swing by. We'll see. Okay, so we are in May. This is when it's bilateral report. So they've already been on the currency manipulation list for the last 2 reports. And just so you guys know, there's been some chitter chatter on some reports about certain countries, Indonesia, Malaysia, and Vietnam, discussing changing their currency rates. Yes, that is being talked about right now. How much it is, I don't know. We'll see, okay? But we know they can't continue to try to stay in the good graces of the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund without trying to stay in the good graces of Trump and the United States. They can't continue to manipulate their currency, all right? The coronavirus might have people distracted for a brief period of time, but I show you all this to say this. Look, Vietnam in the first quarter of 2020 was booming despite the Rona. All right, so here's the thing. If they're booming despite the Rona and they're still being restricted because people are in quarantine and people around the world are starting to relax the quarantine rules, what's this mean for Vietnam? We already know what this means. People are pissed at China. People are moving their businesses into Vietnam as well as other surrounding countries over the South China Sea. All right, you guys, the point being this, I keep telling you guys, don't stress about the Vietnam dong. It is going to change. The rate will change, okay? People keep asking me, do you believe in the global currency reset? Yes. The more I read about different articles, here's the funny thing. I just thought it was some kumbaya thing like Nasera and Jacera. I was like, nah, that can't happen. But the more I do my research on these things, the more I realize they are already happening. All right, you guys? So hang tight, man. It looks to me like 2020 is going to be one hell of a year from us. If you're holding the Iraqi dinar, if you're holding gold and silver, if you're holding the Vietnam dong, if you're holding cryptocurrencies, oh, man, I'm telling you, this could be a really booming year for us, you guys. All right. Anyways, I just wanted to share this with you. There's a few things I wanted to point out. One is Vietnam's looking to expand their solar panel fields. This is good if you're a silver holder or if you just want to invest in Vietnam's solar panel fields. Also, Vietnam, again, has scored really good. And if you want to see what kind of score these guys got, look at this real quick. Where is it at? Okay, so they scored a 95.4 out of 100. Received the highest score, 95.4 out of 100. Yeah, congratulations, you're doing great. But then the Trump's gonna come along, spank ya if you guys don't get your crap together. All right, you guys. So just hang tight. Look, it's going to change, man. It's going to happen. How much? I don't know. We will keep an eye on it. That's what I try to do. But every day, the reason why I keep talking about these different articles when it comes to Vietnam, even though the situation is not the same as Iraqi dinar, I want you to see how much Vietnam continues to grow and expand. The more they do that, the more valuable their currency becomes. Okay, you guys? That's the point. In other words, have faith. The rate's going to change. All right? Talk to you later. Bye.